All right, we are back. We got a new storybook for Christmas, didn't we?
Mm.
Say hi
Mm.
to all our subscribers.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the best we're gonna get. Anyway, so we got this book for Christmas. I'm a little sick, so my throat, well, I'm getting over being sick, but my throat is a little parched sounding, whatever. So these are 5-minute stories that Santa brought for Addie for her bedtime stories. Oh, look who sat up. All right. So let's see what we got. Oh, the first story is Pinocchio. Do you know who Pinocchio is? Who's Pinocchio?
Oh.
Yeah, but what is he?
No.
He's a wooden doll? Yeah. All right. There once was a carpenter named Geppetto. One day, he was walking through an enchanted forest when he heard a voice. "Hello," it said. Geppetto looked around and soon realized that the voice was coming from a magic piece of wood. Talking wood, he thought. How unusual. Geppetto took the magic wood home and carved a little puppet boy from it. He gave the boy a suit of clothes and a hat with a feather in it. The wooden boy danced around the room for Geppetto and made him laugh. "Hello," he said. Geppetto named the boy Pinocchio. "You must go to school like the other children," Geppetto told him. So the next morning, Pinocchio skipped off to school on his wooden legs. As he went along, a cricket hopped up onto his shoulder. "You look like you could use a friend," he told Pinocchio. "I will help you learn right from wrong." A little farther down the road, Pinocchio met a fox and a cat. They had heard the sound of lunch money jingling in his pocket. "Don't bother going to school," said the fox. "Come and play with us instead." Pinocchio, not knowing any better, thought that sounded like a good idea. "I don't think you're doing the right thing," the cricket told him. "You promised your father you would go to school." But Pinocchio paid no attention to the cricket. The cat and the fox led Pinocchio into a dark forest. "If you plant money here, it will grow into a money tree," they told him. "Just come back here tomorrow and you'll see." "That doesn't sound right," said the cricket. "That money was for your lunch." But Pinocchio didn't listen. He dug a hole in the ground and buried the coins in it. Then Pinocchio went home feeling very hungry. He did not tell his father that he hadn't been to school. The next morning, Pinocchio didn't go to school either. Instead, with the cricket on his shoulder, he skipped into the forest to find the money tree. When Pinocchio reached the spot where he had buried his coins, there was no money tree. He dug to look for the coins that he had planted, but they were gone. "The fox and the cat have played a trick on you," said the cricket. "They just wanted to get your money." Pinocchio felt rather silly, but he pretended he didn't care. He stomped off into the forest. "I'm going on an adventure," he said. The little cricket begged him to go back to Geppetto, but Pinocchio walked on until it was dark and he was a little scared. Soon, they came to a tiny cottage. Pinocchio ran to the door and knocked loudly. A pretty fairy with turquoise hair answered the door. "We're lost," exclaimed Pinocchio. "Please, can you help us?" The fairy invited them in and gave them some food. "Why are you so far from home?" she asked kindly. Pinocchio didn't want to tell her that he had disobeyed his father. "I was chased by a giant," he lied. Suddenly, Pinocchio's nose grew a little. "The giant was taller than the trees," continued Pinocchio, and Pinocchio's nose grew some more. "And I ran into the forest to escape," he continued, and Pinocchio's nose grew again. He touched it in wonder. Why do you think his nose keeps growing?
No, there's my nose.
Because he's lying. Because he's telling lies. He's not telling the truth. He touched it in wonder. I have put a spell on you, said the fairy. Every time you tell a lie, your wooden nose will grow. Oh, no. Pinocchio began to cry. How he wished he had gone to school as his father had said. I won't tell any more lies, promised Pinocchio. The fairy called some friendly woodpeckers who pecked at Pinocchio's long nose until it was back to the way that it used to be. In the morning, Pinocchio rushed back through the forest with the little cricket perched on his shoulders. From now on, I will do just as father tells me, he said. But when he got home, Geppetto wasn't there. Instead, there was a note on the kitchen table. Dear Pinocchio, I have gone to look for you. I miss you, my son. Your loving father, Geppetto. Pinocchio was very sad. He knew he had caused a lot of trouble. We must find my father and bring him home, he sobbed. So he and the cricket set off at once. They began their search down by the river. Pinocchio stood too near the edge of the water and he fell in with a splash. The cricket jumped in to help him, but they were both swallowed by an enormous fish. There, in the fish's tummy, they found Geppetto. Pinocchio hugged his father tightly. I won't leave you again, he said. The clever wooden boy took the feather from his hat and tickled the fish. Chew! The fish gave a mighty sneeze, and Geppetto, Pinocchio, and the cricket shot back out through the fish's mouth and landed on the bank of the river. That night, when Pinocchio was tucked into his own little bed, fast asleep, the fairy with the turquoise hair flew through his window. You are a good, brave boy, she said as he slept, and kissed him on the forehead. When Pinocchio awoke the next morning, he found that he was no longer made from wood. He was a real boy. From then on, he was always a good son to Geppetto and the best of friends with the cricket, who didn't need to tell him right from wrong ever again. The end. What's your issue, girl? Creepy Teletubbies? Don't play that game. That was the end of Pinocchio. Did you like that story? So what happened to Pinocchio in the end? He turned into? What did he turn into?
Baby Teletubbies. Yeah.
He turned into a real boy. Because he was behaving and he wasn't telling lies anymore. So tomorrow, if we have enough time, if you don't play around and make us late for bed, we'll read The Gingerbread Man. Weren't you just eating gingerbread cookies for Christmas? And didn't you make a gingerbread house for Christmas too?
That's a difference. Oh,
It's got lots of stories for us to read. Let's look at the table of contents. That's where you find all the stories. Pinocchio, The Gingerbread Man, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Puss in Boots. A lot of these we read in the other book, but they seem a little bit different told. So, they'll work. It's a long book. Oh my gosh, look at all these pages. We're back, girl, with our bedtime stories. So let's see the total amount of pages in the book. Hold on. 381. And this one is The Ugly Duckling. The last story is The Ugly Duckling. Looks pretty good. 5-minute stories, over 50 tales and fables.
Mama, I love you. You want to play that game?
You're going to play Hungry Teletubbies?
Yeah. So, you want to see what their friend eat them.
All right. Good night.
Click yes.
Good night.
Good night.
I love you.
I love you, but.
Are you being silly? Look at them chapped lips because you keep licking them. You got really chapped lips. All right. Good night.